Welcome to Titan HST's Business Continuity Today, hosted by Todd DeVoe, where planning meets reality.
Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are at in this fine world. And this is Business Continuity Today by Titan HST and hosted by me, Todd DeVoe, the Director of Emergency Management. And I also teach at the post-secondary level where I like to learn new things and share them with you all. So today, though, if you've looked at the news, what's going on here, we have some weather events that are happening across the country. And matter of fact, I'm going to read this really quick. It says that from USA Today, 17 minutes ago, winter storm warning sweep west, 125 million in the west northeast in the path of high winds and tornadoes. So it looks like we have millions of people right now that are maybe impacted by this storm. So why are we talking about this when it comes to business continuity? Well, one thing is we have to be leaning forward and looking at any threat that could potentially harm your organization, and how do we keep the organization running when you are in the middle of storms. So according to AccuWeather, all right, the U.S. total economic loss due to catastrophic winter storms in 2021 was $155 billion. Right? That's a lot of money. Think about that. $155 billion of loss due to weather. Now, it's not just the productivity that is lost, right? When it looks at weather, it's also, people away from work that can't get into work, and how your customers can't get to you, and all those things are all associated with what is going on for weather. So let's talk about a few things that you can do in business continuity to help you with that. Number one is assess your risks. And so there are several hazards that businesses need to watch out for when it comes to cold weather or winter weather in general. If you're in the Southwest where it's a little warmer, but we still have issues such as flooding. It's not just icy roads and snow accumulation, right? Buffalo just went through this with a blizzard that happened a couple weeks ago, and we saw that occur. But there's also the increased likelihood of structural stress damage to dangerous fire activity, slip and fall issues, and injuries that are caused when businesses, when you have this winter weather occur. Here in Southern California, Nevada, Arizona, those areas, we also have issues with flash floods and roads being closed due to debris flow, and things like that when it comes to winter weather. People losing their homes due to this, and businesses being shut down due to debris flow damaging the building that they're in. So these are some of the things you have to also think about. Also, winter weather brings additional we talked about it last week, cold and flu season. And now let's add COVID as a regular basis to it as well. We're seeing more things in the news regarding COVID. People are more susceptible to flu and cold during the winter weather due to various factors. Temperatures go up and down. People aren't prepared. Their bodies aren't prepared for that. And so they're more susceptible to flu and colds. And then, of course, now COVID, which is, again, spreading quickly across the world. We talked about unsafe driving conditions that are associated with it. So if you have delivery people out there, what are you doing to help them with their driving conditions? How are you communicating with them when you have issues that are happening, whether it's flash flood, things like this, road closures that might impact what they're doing, and also people getting to the job. Flight delays and cancellations. So if you have a sales team or any team members that are flying around the country, even if they are in relatively warm areas, right? So say, for instance, flying from Los Angeles to Phoenix or something along those lines. Flight delays in Texas, which is getting snow, and in Chicago, places like that are getting impacted by weather, right? Their delays could impact just simple flights that are an hour away or 2 hours away, from California to wherever you're going, or in the warmer wet areas. So flight delays and cancellations could occur. So those business meetings, or you could have staff stranded in different parts of the country. If there's school delays and closures, why does that impact you? Well, because it also impacts people have to stay home with their children, right? So, think about that as well. So we talked about this before when we're looking at planning for people being away from work during these times, there's going to be a certain percentage for your organization that may or may not be able to show up to work. So, if you're thinking that, say, a 40% reduction in the workforce, it's probably across the time, it's probably about right during winter seasons. So plan for that reduction in the workforce as well. And then, with the holidays here, people are decorating their homes, and so you're seeing more electrical fires and hazards like that, not just because of decorations, but also if you have floods and things like this, which can cause those fires as well. But you're also seeing more with the holiday decorations. And then here in Southern California, in California in general, we have what's called the public safety power shutoffs, and you can lose power due to windstorms that we have here on a regular basis. So those storms aren't just those snowstorms that are hitting across, it's other things as well. Now, who's responsible, right? When something occurs, such as a winter weather or bad weather related, who's responsible to update your employees? Right. So who's your communicator? Have that person chosen, whether it's you or someone else on your team. And how are you using your communication system to let people know? And this is where Tight HST plays a really important part in your organization, is because we have some really great communication tools that you can use, whether it's your polls to see if people are safe or not, safety status updates, same type of thing. A little bit more in case like the tornado does occur, and also being able to send out warnings and through via broadcast. So things like that. What are you using to be able to broadcast to your organization to say, hey, there's a weather condition happening, and how do you check them in to see if they're safe or not safe after a severe event does occur into your area? Make a plan to watch the storms that are happening, right? Make a plan to who is paying attention to the weather in your organization. Sounds silly, right? But you should have somebody that, again, whether it's you in the business continuity department or the emergency management department, who is responsible for doing that, and what triggers do you have set when the storms are coming in that you are going to pull your winter storm plan out and make it active. So what are those triggers that are there? Have that stuff set up ahead of time. The storm that's coming in this week, obviously, I'm hoping that everybody has those storms or those plans ready to go, and I would be pulling that trigger right now. And make sure that you share that preparation checklist with your entire team so they are ready for that winter storm coming in. And then fortify your locations for the extreme weather, right? So if it's cold that's coming in and you're normally not dealing with cold, say like in Texas, I'll give this as a true example. What are you doing? What's your plan to keep the area warm? I was at a hotel in Texas last year, and they had these huge heaters that they brought in to heat their lobby. And I talked to one of the workers and said, "You guys don't have central heat down here?" And they're like, "No." So we normally don't have this cold. So this is our plan, is to bring these large heaters into the like these, if you see them, the industrial heaters that are on wheels. So they brought those into the lobby to keep the lobby warm. The bedrooms and stuff on the rooms, the hotel rooms were warm, but the lobby itself was very, very cold, and they were below freezing weather. So, if you have areas that are having those problems, what is your plan? Have you had your roof checked prior to the rainstorm coming in? And it's terrible when you find out that you have a leaky roof when the rain is coming in. So what is your regular maintenance on your building? If you're renting the building, ask your building owners, what is the regular maintenance on this building? And are you guys checking through your heaters and your air conditioning, your HVAC systems, to make sure that they have been updated and ready to go, and there's not going to be any leaking unforeseen roof damage. Now, if you remember a few years ago, The snow got so heavy in it was in Minnesota that it collapsed the football stadium's roof. So yeah, these things do happen, right? It was very spectacular, so that's why it made the news. But yeah, so roofs do collapse because of the weight of the snow. So making sure that you are prepared for that as well. Are you prepared for winter storm power outages? Do you have battery backup for your computers? Do you have generators potentially that can run your office when power goes out? Like I said, here in California, we have the public safety power shutoffs. Are you planning for those? Right? Are you working with, especially if you're a large organization, are you working with your team to make sure that they still have power during that time when the shutoffs go down? You could have portable chargers, you could have solar chargers, all sorts of things that you could put into there, or old school diesel generators or natural gas generators, things that could happen. Also, you might want to use some of these plans for your own personal house, right, to make sure that you have power when the power does go out. And again, equip your people, get them ready for these storms. Have them go through some training. Whether you have your monthly training that you send out to them, or reminders. Give them the empowerment to be able to be prepared for these storms as well. And of course, like we said before, keep everybody informed by using your systems, and hopefully you can use Titan HST to fulfill that need, as keeping your team ready to go for these winter storms. And also, not only just prepared, because you can put your plans and whatnot on the system, but communicating with them. And again, knowing if they're safe during these times. Like, we have weather that's happening, tornado warnings that are occurring. A couple years ago, we had some severe tornadoes that went through Kentucky and really did some damage. I want everybody to be safe. I want everybody to be prepared. So this is what we're talking about here today. And I hope that your team is ready to go as these storms come bearing down on us every year, specifically on the winter storms, but please, specifically for this storm, since it's coming in, I hope that your team is ready and safe to go. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us here at Titan HST's Business Continuity today. And until next week, hope you all stay safe and stay hydrated.